Hi Aquarius, I hope that everybody is doing well. In the pre-shuffle, I was seeing things having to do with balance and working things out. We are starting off with the Two of Swords. When we have Two of Swords, there can be a choice that we know is going to be coming up, but we may not have done it yet. I don't so much get this as you being undecided, even though you may feel like you're a little bit undecided. I'm not so much getting that. I'm getting it more so like this is about the timing of things and what needs to be done, but this is something that may not have been fully initiated yet. I do feel kind of like when you have something on your mind to do and you're going back and forth about it, usually it's an indicator that because it's on your mind, it's something that you do want to do and you are meant to initiate, but we can have other things going on that sort of conflict with our, I don't know, like ability to do so, our willingness to do so, and we have to find ways to motivate ourselves and even maybe get to the bottom of why something would come up in the first place to understand that it is coming up for a legitimate reason and it is something that needs to be dealt with. I'm seeing Eight of Cups on the bottom of the deck. So you can be making a choice to part ways. You can be making a choice to transition. You can be making a choice to move on. I feel at the end of the day, like what you're feeling and what's going on with you is that you're coming to a place of really asking yourself a big question here, and that's whether or not you feel happy with something going on. And that's not to say this isn't about can you survive in a situation, because what can't we really survive within? This is more so if you're finding yourself in something and you don't feel like it's meeting the potential of the type of experience that you want, or maybe if you see something at its like best or even most consistent, it's not really doing it for you. It can be a time when you take a closer look at that and maybe do something about it. Coming back to this idea of there being a difference between what we can convince ourselves to survive within versus what we actually can thrive within. And that's always going to be the question when it comes to Eight of Cups, because it's about when you connect with something, feeling like you are motivated to continue being in that cycle because you feel connected to it and because it is really what you're looking for at the end of the day, versus being within something that maybe isn't what you're looking for anymore. And so you can be arriving at this conclusion but still haven't done something about this yet. But I will say, when you're in a situation like this, if this is something that has come up before, and because for those of you that this isn't just like the first time that this is coming to mind, okay, that this has been sort of an ongoing thing, it's like you're going to keep coming back to here and something needs to be done, but you can feel possibly a little bit resistant. Maybe this is like a big deal. Maybe this is a big choice that needs to be made. You're going to have to make up your mind and then things are going to follow at that point. As I said before, for some of you, I feel like you already have made up your mind. You may just not have done this yet. So it can be something like maybe you want to put your 2 weeks in at work because you don't feel happy with your job anymore. Maybe there's something going on within a relationship and there's a way that you're feeling about it and you want to do something about it. Maybe find something that you feel more connected with, but you're going to have to transition out if you're going to do this. Whether it be, I'm hearing roommate, whether it be a living situation, it be a work situation, it be a partnership situation, whatever you may find yourself doing. This can even be an activity that you're feeling this way about. Not to give too many options, but I want this to cover a wide berth because this can be a lot of different things that we have going on, but it's going to be somewhere where you're meant to be feeling a sense of connection that you're not feeling, and it's telling you that something is not working, that something is not compatible with what it is that will feel like it'll sustain you. And more than that, again, like this part is really important. This is about choosing the things that we feel like we are thriving within. It's not about, can I survive in a situation? It's not about, can I get by in a situation? That is something else entirely, and that's not what this is about. When we have Eight of Cups, this is the thing that you can connect with, that you feel like you can feel settled within, because you know that there's balance within that. And if you want balance within your life, these are choices that have to be made. Action is required on your part. And just to respond to the way that you're feeling. Two of Swords and Ace of Pentacles. So this can be a choice about the next chapter. You can feel very unsure still. Some of you can even... You could possibly want a new chapter with another person. You may not have done this yet. Maybe you didn't say anything. That can be something as well. And if you're making all of the moves and you're waiting on something, a decision may not have been made. Like this can be something like, I don't know if they're gonna hire me, or I don't know if like this person wants to do this together. It can be something like that as well. We also have Queen of Swords. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that has to be worked through, it seems, but I don't know why. I almost get the feeling like this is being overcomplicated a little bit, but maybe it's something where it takes you long to process how it is that you're feeling. Maybe you have a very methodical approach, and this can be something where you're like, I don't even know how to organize this. You know what this feels like to me? Having Queen of Swords looking at Seven of Cups feels like if you were in the energy of Queen of Cups, I think you'd be able to look at the Seven of Cups and be like, I'm in my element, I'm in my territory, but I'm just gonna like really immerse myself in this and feel it out and figure it out. But when we have the Queen of Swords there instead, this can kind of be like, processing emotions feels a little bit foreign to me sometimes. This can be like, I almost don't know what to do with this. Like, give me a puzzle and I'll figure that out, but give me something having to do with feelings and having to figure that out. I feel like I'm out of my element a little bit here. So this can be something where it feels almost like you've been given a very high level like Rubik's Cube to have to solve here, and it can be something where you feel like, I don't know, it feels like you're like in freshman year and they're giving you some type of like senior homework that you need to be doing here, and you can like, you know that you're smart with the Queen of Swords there, you know that you can figure things out, but it's just like, I feel like this is in a subject that is a little bit more nuanced in a way when we have the cups there, because this is something where you really have to be tuned in, you really have to be tapped in, and if you're trying to look at this and solve it in a cerebral way, you're really gonna miss something important here, because the focus is actually on the cups here, which means that the focus is on how you feel and then you responding to that, rather than you just being like, well, logically this, logically that, how tangible or feasible is that gonna be? Like, you know, all of those things are what comes after, once you know the sense of like right direction for you to be going in. But I feel almost like you may be trying to I feel almost like you're attempting to do this maybe with the wrong measurements. Like, for Queen of Swords to show up to deal with the Seven of Cups, it feels like you like hiring the wrong person for the job that needs to be done. Like, Seven of Cups is something that needs to be addressed, but you need to be in your feelings to be able to do this. And if you're intellectualizing and you're not really fully dropped into the way that you're feeling, this is something that you're gonna stay feeling like you can't really even touch this. You can't get deeper down. So you may have to, channel your water energy in order to do this. This is not, I feel like it's not a job for the Queen of Swords here. Queen of Swords is the energy that's going to come after, but you have to be in the Queen of Cups energy to do this. So if you're just trying to intellectualize things, you're not really going to get far with this, because it's about the way that you're feeling. And Queen of Swords isn't dropped into the feelings. It's like making decisions for things other than the emotions and other than the feelings, but it's like this is actually something having to do specifically solely with the way that you're feeling. So like that part of you has to be present, and I'm not seeing that be present here. And then you can feel stuck, but it's because you're not channeling the right type of energy to do this. That's why. Just thinking about this too much. You have to go with the way that you're feeling. Like you have to tune more into your instinct here. It's not that the Queen of Swords isn't important. It's just that you have to feel it first and then problem solve, rather than trying to problem solve and you're not even all the way into what it is that you're feeling. Because Queen of Cups is a part of you that's going to be able to scuba dive and go all the way down into the water here and get a good look at what's happening. But Queen of Swords, this is an air energy. She doesn't go in the water like that. So Queen of Cups has to go into the water and figure out what's going on, and then can come back up to the surface and tell that rational part of you, this is what I'm assessing, this is what I saw going on down there, this is the way that everything is like panning out. And then the part of you that's the Queen of Swords can problem solve with that. But you have to see what's going on first. You have to feel into what's going on first. You have to touch base with what's going on and look around when you're immersed in the depths of what that is. So if you're doing anything that you're not fully feeling into this, it's going to be something that it remains kind of like a mystery. It remains something where it's like this cloudiness that you're not piercing through. And it's, again, because the Queen of Cups has to be the one to do it. Queen of Cups is that part of us that we tune into the way that we feel. We do not judge the way that we feel. We're not trying to assess the way that we are feeling. We're just feeling everything that we're feeling and being totally present to the way that we're feeling. And then once we are totally present to it and you know how it is that you're feeling, then you can do something about it. But until you know really how it is that you're feeling, how are you going to do something about it? It just feels like missing. And I feel even like there's an awareness of that, of that's why you're stuck here. You may not fully be receptive to the way that you feel as well. That can be something too. Maybe you've had an experience where your emotions have been minimized. Maybe you've been being impatient with yourself moving through this. I feel too like you may kind of be a little bit focused on the past right here, and it can be something where you're not being totally present to the way that you're feeling because you're somewhere else. Because Five of Swords over here is looking back, not even looking at what's going on. It feels like you have something right there in front of you that needs to be addressed, that you need to really tune into and feel out. But that Five of Swords is like just listing all of these things in your head that's connected with all the stuff that's not even happening right now. Like you just have to tune in here to this. I feel even like you being a type of way about certain things, it's very much distracting you from dealing with this. Don't you want to move forward? Yeah, it feels like, am I going to move on or not? I will say this too. Some of you can be in a fight with somebody. There can be something going on, but it's going to be reflective of a fight that you're in with yourself, is the thing. And continuing to do this, because maybe you have some type of, what is it? When you and another person have a difference of opinions in a big way, it feels like you can keep going around and around and around and keep butting heads. And it feels like that's actually allowing you to avoid dealing with something on the emotional front. Are you done wanting to continue feeling a type of way about things? Do you want to move forward? Do you want things to settle? Like, it can happen now. Having that Ace of Pentacles and having the Six of Swords there, we actually can move forward, but there's something that you're going to have to drop. And I feel too like maybe there's something that's not reconcilable. That could possibly be, well, when I say that, what I mean is that if you're trying to like get somebody to see from your perspective and they're not on the same page with you, it may just remain like that, and you're gonna have to leave it like that and move forward. Because this can be something where you're like, I want to resolve it, I want to resolve it, I want to resolve it. And the lesson in this may be that this thing is just, there's too much difference here. And it's something where it's like too polarized and you're not gonna find the common thread here. And it has to do specifically with like people and the way that they feel. I'm not saying like in general, if you were in this situation with anybody, it would be like this, but it can be something where the feeling like there's a problem and stuff is unresolved, it can keep you in that space. And there can also even be this, my like bad feelings that I have, and when I say bad, I mean like the stuff that makes you close down, the stuff that makes you shut down, the stuff that has you not open-hearted. These things are the stuff that cuts you off from the way that you actually feel about things, and you're intellectualizing it, and then not dropped into your feelings, and then nothing is being done about this. And then you find yourself in the same situation again and again. Rather than just dealing with the way that you feel and taking action based off of it, it's like trying to prove a point or something. That's the feeling that I get from this. And this can even be somebody that maybe you guys see something very differently. Like that Five of Swords and that Six of Swords can be that maybe there's somebody you're just not going to come to a place of agreement with. But you continuing to fight with them can be something that, again, allows you to avoid what you're feeling on a deeper level and to take action here. It's having you avoid that. Don't you want to leave the fighting behind? I think too, like when you're having tension long enough, sometimes when we take a step back, we can reassess the situation and say, like, I don't know that I want to keep doing this. I don't know that this is the best thing for me. Five of Swords can be a situation with someone. It can be with someone, it can be like with work, it can be a relationship. So it doesn't have to only be a single person, but it can be. But it's more about what's going on in the energy. So regardless of whoever's on the other side of this, it's one of those times where you can continue staying in that energy where it's like not seeing eye to eye and having issues, and it's like going around and around and around, but it doesn't feel good. Do you want to stay in a cycle that feels like that? Because that actually is a choice that's being made to continue doing this. It can be like to continue bickering, to continue fighting, to continue having tension. And it's like, it just keeps you in that space of turmoil. And it feels like the way that you are feeling on a deeper level, discovering the deeper feelings that you're having, that's being put on the back burner and it's not being explored. And is that what you want to choose to be experiencing here? Because it feels like these are going in two separate directions. Like what's in front of you, like what's presently in front of you is needing to dive into something where there are things that are not totally seen yet on the emotional front that need to be tuned into, and that's what's presently in front of you, versus continuing to have these old arguments or this old tension or this friction and feeling a type of way and you don't feel good about it. This isn't like, conflict is important, and addressing things and confrontation, it is important, but when you're not getting anywhere, it's also important to recognize that as well. Like, is it really worth it? Not everything is worth having a fight over. Not everything is worth even trying to work out in the first place. Sometimes things are, but when you're making progress and you're working with somebody that's also open to actually fixing something versus just remaining fighting about it, then you're going to see changes. You're going to feel like you guys are working together. When you're actually doing problem solving with another person, even if initially you're disagreeing about things, there will be this feeling like you're on the same team working together with one another. Is that what this feels like? And if that's not what this feels like, is this something that you want to keep doing? And so you can be asking yourself, because this can be something where it's like you could spend the rest of your life doing this. Is that something that you want to be doing? Is that what you want your experience to be? And you can have some feelings about what's going on a deeper level that you're not totally present to. And they're just there in the queue waiting. But it's like you can be continuing to argue with this person, ultimately continuing to argue with yourself. And this stuff is not being addressed. But you can move on from it. But you're going to have to let go of things. And this can even be too. Some of you, maybe you're not even in the middle of fighting with someone anymore and you just still feel a type of way about it because you're still holding on to stuff because you're not processing. And you may not be open to what you really want here. When we have Five of Swords, we're not connected with what we're really feeling in the deeper sense of what that is. It can be very surface level. You have an opportunity for things to be different. This can help you go a different way here. You can leave this behind, but you're going to have to leave it behind. It's like this is in the past. You don't have to be in this conflict anymore. You really can move forward. This is like a door that's opening. This is an opportunity. Do you want to go in that direction? And this is a direction when we have the Ace of Wands. This is something that we look at and it symbolizes a type of growth that we can have within our life. This can be something where you maybe feel isn't reflective of that. But you're going to have to see the opportunity within this. I am seeing Ace of Cups on the bottom of the deck, so this can definitely be connected with a sense of connection. Okay. Yeah, some of you this situation ended. Some of you it feels like this situation ended, and for some of you, you actually have to end this. And that can be the choice that needs to be made. Having Two of Swords be connected with Ten of Swords and the Nine of Wands. Are we going to end this? Are we not going to end this? What are we going to do? You have the opportunity for a new chapter. We have both the Ace of Pentacles and we also have Ace of Wands here too. But you're going to have to respond to what's going on if this is going to happen. And you can have a lot of mixed emotions about this in its entirety. Because I feel too like, it feels like there's a lack of closure to me. But sometimes that's the thing within situations. Things aren't always neatly like put in a box with the lid put on it and it's just nice and organized. Things aren't always like that. I feel as well like this can be a situation that's just kind of a bit of a blur. Like it can be difficult to resolve. It can be difficult to put your finger on it, but it feels like it just kind of remains like that. Like that may be the essence of the situation. And what that means is that it brings you down to a choice of, do you want to keep doing that or do you want to do something else? And I will say this too, like, if you decide to keep moving within this, it's not like one choice is right and one choice is wrong. You may prefer something over something else. You may actually really prefer to move on from this rather than be moving within this, because it feels like you continuing to move within this, regardless of what's going to happen, you continuing to move in this, like that doesn't feel very good. And you may feel like in your soul this doesn't feel good. And is that something that's being recognized? Because with this Ace of Pentacles and Six of Swords, you do have the opportunity to move upward and onward. You really can. But you're going to have to respond to this situation if that's the case. And the matter of how it is that you're feeling. This will also allow the turmoil like kind of a something where it feels like things aren't settled and things aren't clear. This will also allow that to come to an end as well. I will say this. Staying in this situation can keep you avoiding the way that you're feeling on a deeper level. And so that can be a way that unconsciously you feel like this is benefiting you, to not have to address something on a deeper level. But it feels like if this scenario is closed out here, which that's actually, I feel more than anything like this is one of those times where you have to discern that it's time for something to be finished, but you're not going to have somebody coming through and being like, okay, time's up, you're done. You have to be the one to determine that. I will say this too. Something else that I'm seeing here is that it does look like there are new chapters, multiple new chapters that are opening, but you can also be like already disgruntled about what you've been going through, and you can be feeling unsure about what these new chapters mean as well. Because I'm seeing 7 of Cups there, and that can mean like something about the unknown, or you don't know what those things would be like if you would go in that direction, and you may not even be totally clear on how you feel about it. But what I do know is that this is keeping you from finding that out. And how it's keeping you from finding that out is because it's like this never-ending homework that you're doing. You can just hand in the assignment and be finished with it. Or you can keep doing it and it's going to be endless. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.